My name is Alex Johnson, 35 years old. If I hadn't had that encounter, I might still be a timid and unremarkable guy. Good job today. Thanks, you too. I respond briefly with a smile to my co-worker's greeting. Though it's been a while since I was last at the headquarters, the renovated interior makes it feel like a completely different company, leaving me feeling a bit uneasy. I'm an ordinary-looking office worker, but perhaps because I grew up in a rural area, I'm a bit excited about living in the city for the first time in years. As I walk through the floor, I suddenly notice a painting hanging in the hallway. It's a picture of a lush, green countryside. The simple painting brings back memories of my bittersweet teenage years. Yes, I think it's no exaggeration to say that back then, I experienced the love of a lifetime. It was 18 years ago, a day I will never forget. In my junior year of high school, I was seated next to a beautiful girl with striking bobbed hair and almond-shaped eyes. Her intelligent profile, long slender limbs, and flawlessly smooth white skin. Her name was Olivia. She was somewhat of a celebrity at our school. She transferred in during the winter of our sophomore year and topped the class in the very next finals. Transferring in during such a time was rare enough, but her immediate academic success at our competitive high school caused quite a stir. And with her refined beauty, even senior students would come to our classroom just to see her. Not only did our classmates try to make their moves on her, there were also rumors that even popular upperclassmen confessed. The captain of the soccer team, the ace of the judo team, the vice-captain of the tennis team, the prince of the basketball team, the top scorer of the volleyball team, the list of those who confessed to her and were turned down was endless. There were so many who got rejected that new rumors started circulating. People said she was engaged to a wealthy heir or dating a handsome college student from a prestigious university or involved with an elite from a certain medical school. Even upperclassmen were gossiping about her. But Olivia didn't seem to care about any of it. She didn't engage with the students watching her from afar and, more obviously, she didn't make friends. Always engrossed in a paperback book with a cover. She would stare intently at her book and turn the pages with her delicate fingers. She was seen as an unapproachable type. Needless to say, even though we were sitting next to each other, we had never had a single conversation. So I never imagined that we would grow closer in such a way. It was a sweltering afternoon just before the summer vacation, with the sun blazing down. Most of the students had already gone home after the closing ceremony. In the early afternoon, I was running down the hallway, out of breath. I had left all the handouts for summer assignments in the classroom. Forgetting to wipe the sweat running down my face, I yanked the classroom door open, and what I saw made me stop in my tracks. There was Olivia, slumped over her desk, asleep. Next to her was a paperback book. She must have fallen asleep while reading. As I got closer, I could see a faint sheen of sweat on her forehead. It was a scorching afternoon. If she got heatstroke, it would be terrible. I was honestly hesitant to speak to her, as we had hardly ever talked. That adolescent sense of embarrassment. But this wasn't the time for that. Determined, I was about to wake her up when my eyes fell on the paperback book next to her. Unlike usual, its cover was removed. At that moment, Olivia stirred. She stretched and slowly got up. When she looked up at me, her eyes remained unfocused for a while. I wonder how much time had passed. Unable to bear the silence, I spoke up, and Olivia suddenly widened her eyes and glanced at the paperback book. She immediately yelled and hid the book. I was the one who was taken aback by the volume of her voice, which was so unlike her usual self. I also let out a shout and involuntarily recoiled. "Did you see?" Her expression, looking at me awkwardly, appeared to be a bit childish than usual. The paperback book, usually covered, now revealed. What was she reading? She was always described as mysterious. Through the gap in her arms hiding the book, I saw it wasn't a paperback but a somewhat obscure boys' comics. The kind of mischievous comics elementary school boys read. We stared at each other in silence. It didn't take long for the distance between Olivia and me to shrink after that. It turned out I was also a fan of the comics she was reading. Once we started talking, she was far from the mysterious image she appeared to be. She was as chatty and straightforward as any of our female classmates. Well, I can't help it. I've got this stiff appearance, and I can't just say, I actually love comics, out of nowhere, can I? She spoke frankly, munching on a sandwich behind the gym. Since then, we started hanging out at that same spot after school, talking about anything while holding our study guides. Sometimes, we'd teach each other and talk about our favorite comics. Before Olivia took the top spot, I was actually the number one in our grade. While she had taken my place at the top, I didn't feel any bitterness. More than that, I felt incredibly happy, elated, and a bit giddy to have a friend with whom I could share and get excited about our studies. Olivia gradually started talking to other classmates after the summer vacation. But it still seemed like she wasn't fully opening up to them. Her tone of voice was different. When I pointed this out once, she brushed it off lightly, saying, "Really? But I talk normally with you, so it's no big deal." It didn't seem to bother her much. We had a mutual understanding to keep it a secret from everyone else. With her long eyelashes and those lips that spun humorous words, who wouldn't fall in love with her? My Adam's apple bobbed. Her profile was truly as beautiful as a sculpture. One day, when I showed a bit of insecurity, "You're at it again," Olivia said with exasperation, slapping me on the back. "You're very talented, Alex. You should have more confidence." Olivia was always there to give me a push when I needed it. At some point, I truly fell for the girl who was always encouraging me. However, our relationship came to an end in the fall of our senior year. "What's that?" Olivia muttered in a low tone. I kept my gaze down, wandering around silently. "You promised, didn't you? We'd aim for K University together." I couldn't bring myself to look directly at her as she whispered in a fading voice. It was a time when we were deep into our college entrance exams. As the wind started to feel chilly, I had been accepted to T University on a recommendation. I hadn't told Olivia that I was aiming for a recommendation. We had promised each other about half a year ago to aim for K University together. T University is a great school, but... Olivia paused. When I cautiously glanced up, our eyes met as she was staring at me intently. "With your ability, you could have definitely aimed for K University, right?" Her gaze was unwavering. Unable to withstand it, I looked down again. "I'm sorry." Yes, I had run away from the college entrance exam competition. We both aimed for the business school at K University. Among the private universities known for their difficulty, K University's business school was particularly popular, with intense competition. Our mock exam scores both placed us at C rank. It was hard to say we would get in easily. Still, Olivia would undoubtedly continue to aim for K University. With her relentless drive and strong will, she would surely succeed in the exams. But I was scared. I kept imagining a scenario where only Olivia got in. I couldn't picture myself passing the exam for K University, and I started losing focus while studying. I started to fear I wouldn't get accepted anywhere. That's when I grabbed the chance for a recommendation from T University. If I got greedy, I might end up not getting accepted anywhere. Failing K University, and then regret not choosing the recommendation from T University would have been too late. Not getting accepted anywhere would be hell. So, when I was accepted, I felt an immense sense of relief. "Are you really okay with that?" Olivia muttered quietly. I remained silent for a while, then slowly nodded. "I see. The reason I chose T University was because I wasn't confident about getting into K University. That was a big factor, but even if I did get in, with my current academic level, I would barely keep up with the classes. I could only envision myself getting exhausted from the relentless studying every day. I couldn't see my future at K University. I deeply regretted making an easy promise to aim for K University with Olivia. But I couldn't bring myself to say it to Olivia, who was steadily moving toward her goal. After silently looking at me for a while, Olivia finally said, "Congratulations, Alex," and smiled. That was her answer. Olivia quietly walked past me as I stood there in shock. Left alone, I felt crushed by the sense of defeat that had surfaced alongside my relief when I got the recommendation. Since that day, I never went back to our spot behind the gym. As expected, Olivia got into K University, and I went to T University. We both secured admission to prestigious universities and were congratulated by those around us, but we never exchanged smiles. We didn't keep in touch after that, and neither of us attended reunions, so I had no idea what Olivia was doing. 5 years after that farewell. At 23, I ran into Olivia by chance in the city.